Let's do the Illinois side of this, okay? Let's do the Illinois side of this because, I mean, man, it's hard to – I think it's too unfair to sort of punish this team by really criticizing them too much because I think all in all, what we've seen from Illinois in this event and early in the season has been pretty damn impressive, to RC's point earlier about the dudes that they have on this team. I think a lot of the questions preseason people might have had, and I'm a Big Ten guy, Matt. I don't know if you know this or not, but this is my territory now, right? I was out here in the state of Michigan criticizing this team in the offseason. Like, well, we don't know who the first option is. We know Terrence Shannon can play. We know he can be a third guy. Can he be the first guy on a good team? Does it even matter? And he was 8 for 9 for 3 in the semi. And I don't know that answers it fully, but you feel better about Illinois, I think, than you did at the beginning of the season to this point. So let's remember that when we now go into criticizing what happened in tonight's game, because their end game to me was a mess. The late stage of this game, when it was a total toss-up, tie game, I think there were 4 consecutive possessions that either Dane Danger ended up with basically an isolation post touch, or Epps was creating off the dribble going one-on-one. None of them resulted in a score. All of a sudden, it's an 8-point game, and there's a minute and a half left. So I think they missed the fact that they don't have the true alpha, and whether that's a scorer or whether that's just a point guard, that the ball is in his hands. I think this was the first time in the season that we saw Illinois sorely missing that. Do you agree with that, Matt?
I do agree with it. Going into the game, they were averaging 18 assists a game. And you look at the box score after the night, they had 11 assists and 13 turnovers. I was pretty critical earlier just talking about the shot that Terrence Shannon took coming out of the timeout, right? We had that huge stoppage of play. We got a middle ball screen. The ball never even really broke the three-point line. They throw it to Shannon, and he takes a contested shot on the wing. And as good as he's been all year, and here's the thing about him too, not only is he getting 20 a game, he was leading them in assists going into the game. So how can we get the ball in his hands in that type of situation and get him with a head of steam? Maybe it's a slip, it's a misdirection where he can get in the lane. And if he doesn't have something for himself, create for a teammate, because he is one of their better playmakers. And they didn't get any of that down the stretch. It was contested shot after contested shot. And what does a veteran team like Virginia do in those situations? Man, you shoot contested shots, we rebound, we're going to the foul line, we're making our free throws, and all of a sudden a 3-point game goes, pretty quickly to an 8-point game, like you just said.
Yeah, it happened quick. RC, what'd you see in the late stage of this game?
Like I said, I saw a freshman playing against fifth-year guys, and I saw experience. And listen, they're not just experienced. They're 2 of the better defensive guards that you're going to come across. Reese Beekman is a ACC Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I mean, he is that good defensively. And they just make plays. I mean, Kie Clark, those guys are really good. And listen, Illinois, I thought they handled themselves well. Again, you're talking about from the transfers and guys inexperienced. They had a good showing this week. They have nothing to hang their head about. That's a learning experience for those guys. They'll get better down the stretch. It's nothing to me that's concerning that I saw. Just a matter of just those guys got to learn from that. You're going to be in games like that. Someone's controlling the pace that you want to play something different. And I think that's what they struggle with a little bit. You're trying to pick up and push. You don't want them to set their defense. And sometimes you take a quick shot. That's what Virginia does to you. You want to try to attack them before they can set their defense. You take a quick shot. Now you got to come down and guard for the entire shot clock again. And that's just what they do. That's what makes Virginia so special.
I think it's going to be interesting too. Not to cut you off, but
you're good.
They play Lindenwood, and then it's versus Syracuse, at Maryland versus Texas, right? So this tournament that they just played in, these 2 games, Coach Underwood, he's a terrific coach. They're going to go back, cut this film up. Yeah. But this experience they went through, it's made them better, right? To get prepared for what they got coming out. 3 of these next 4. I mean, they're going to get pushed, no question.
Yeah, I don't want to fast forward because there's a lot of great hoops coming up this week, but that Illinois-Texas game, I'm pretty damn excited to see that one. So the last thing for me on Illinois, and I think the jury's still out. I think I still want to see this team in tight games a little more before I can make a call one way or the other if this is going to really hurt them by the time we get to March. But the thing with Shannon, he's been as good as I think anyone could reasonably expect through 5 games for Illinois. I mean, you look at the numbers, you can read them out loud if you want. 24 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists on the year. Like that's superstar stuff, right? I think whoever was calling tonight's game was throwing out potential Wooden Award winner with him. I don't know that I can get there with him yet, but here's my issue with Shannon is he's not going to shoot 8 for 9 from 3 probably again this season. That was like an out of body experience for him. Now he can make threes. He's a shooter, but he's not going to do that close to that any given night. What I think he might do frequently is have 4, 5, 6 turnovers in a game. Tonight he had 6. And it's that defense. Like they're not going to see that defense in the Big Ten. Not going to happen. But I thought a few of them were a little him between the ears, kind of letting one bad play turn into another. I think it was, you could feel the game slipping and you could feel Illinois turning to him to be the guy who has the answer. And I think it sort of started to make him do a little too much instead of letting the game come to him, which is where he's so damn good when he's able to do that. So I want to see them in more high pressure, high intensity situations, see what that looks like, because when you add up the sum of Illinois' parts, I think that's the best team in the Big Ten. But right now, it felt like they're a team still searching for who to turn to when the going gets tough. And we'll see. We'll see if Shannon can be that guy in the future for this team.